Before even starting this lecture, let me first tell you that some people will disagree with me on this topic. My background is in science and not in design or other visual arts. Therefore, in my opinion, the information that is present in a visual graphic is much more important than the aesthetic design. Now, that is, of course, not to say that you shouldn't pay attention to the beauty, the visual quality of the data visualization, but I think it's better to have an informative plot that isn't terribly interesting to look at, rather than a beautiful and well-designed graphic that presents little information or presents the information so poorly that the graphic is basically uninterpretable. The issue here is that you are sending a message to your audience with both the information content in the graphic and the visual aesthetics of the graphic. Of course, the best data graphic presents information in a clear fashion and also is very nice to look at. But what is the message that you want to send? Is the message that you care about the data and you care what the data show? Or is the message that you like pretty colors and lines and shapes? And here is the fundamental issue with an ugly figure. If you cannot spend at least a few minutes thinking about and making the graph look nice, then the message you are sending to your audience is that you rushed through making the visualization and you paid no attention to details or how the information will be seen and interpreted by your audience. In other words, you are sending the message to your audience that you don't care about your audience and you don't respect them. In contrast, if the data graphic looks really beautiful but doesn't convey any information or makes it really difficult to extract the information, then the message that you are sending is that you are hiding the data or you're embarrassed by the data or that you are so focused by the visual appearance that you don't care about what the data actually show. Or maybe the audience will think that you have no idea what the data mean and you're just trying to distract them with pretty pictures. Again, the message you are sending is that you don't care about your audience and you don't respect them. I will give more specific pieces of advice over the next several videos, but for now I just want you to keep in mind that the purpose of data visualization is to convey information. Ideally, the visualization should also be beautiful. It should be aesthetic and nice to look at. But in my opinion, the aesthetic quality is of secondary importance to the information content. Now I want to show you an example to highlight what I mean. This figure shows changes in electrical brain activity from two different brain regions. The details of the experiment and what these results mean are not so important for now, but it's clear that the blue line is higher towards the beginning of the time window and the red line is higher towards the end of the time window. Now consider this image. Technically, this is the exact identical information being shown, just in a different way. I'm sure you can agree that this plot looks really neat. The plot on the right shows this spiraling, weaving thing. Maybe it's like an instrument or an ancient artifact or some weird alien technology. I would much prefer to have the image on the right hanging on my wall. But as a data graph, as a data visualization, the image on the right is terrible. For example, perhaps it's really important to know when in time the blue line and the red line peak. Now that's obvious from the plot on the left, but it's impossible to tell from the plot on the right. Now consider this plot. Again, the left plot shows exactly the same data as the right plot. But the plot on the right is awful. I'm just not even going to take the time to talk about all the things that are wrong with the visualization on the right, but I'm sure you agree that the plot on the left is way better. So again, the point is that you should pay attention to visual clarity, aesthetics, and design, but that should not come at the expense of showing the data in a clear and straightforward manner.